It is an honor and privilege to be part of this seminal gathering of the body of Christ, to acknowledge the services, men and women of the armed forces, to honor our veterans and those who still serve, and most importantly, to honor the dead in the service of our fatherland. The diverse peoples of Nigeria are a nation today because of the sacrifices of so many of our men and women of the armed forces, dead and living. We sleep well at night because some stayed and still stay awake at their duty posts, in the heat, in the cold, in the rain, prepared to be maimed or killed just to keep the enemies of peace and the opponents of law and order at bay. The dead in the Civil War, the insurgencies in the Northeast, banditry in the parts of the Northwest, and other conflict situations, and the many veterans of these conflicts, each made the supreme sacrifice. But not only they, but their families have also paid and continue to pay a heavy price. Wives, husbands in some cases, deprived of the consort of their spouses, children growing up without the nurture and counsel and love of their parents, and of course the economic deprivations when only one parent bears the responsibility of bringing up and caring for the family. It may not always be evident, but it is true that our men and women of the armed forces are not just fighting to preserve the Nigeria of today with all of its imperfections. Their efforts are in part dedicated to preserving the future, a safer, more secure, more confident, more united nation for our children and their children. It's a struggle to make our nation, in the words of our national anthem, and I quote, "a land where peace and justice reigns." The renewed nation that you have fought for and continue to fight for is being born daily. Every victory won through your immense courage and your toil in the face of mortal dangers are the inevitable labor pangs of the new Nigeria. Your labors will not be in vain. The former US President, Ronald Reagan, said of the veterans in the US that the country is never good enough to its veterans. I agree. Truly, we're never good enough. Sometimes it's on account, as the guest preacher said, of our passivity or perhaps presumption. But it's also partly because we cannot truly repay what they gave. They gave their existence for our existence, and you truly cannot repay them. But we can at least do better than we have done. This is the commitment that the federal government, through the President, has made to do better for our veterans and the families of our fallen heroes, and to improve the conditions of those who serve today. And we shall do so incrementally, making provisions in the annual budgets. And we do not and will not take our men and women of the armed forces for granted. And so today we come together to thank the men and women of our armed forces for their sterling and selfless service to our nation. Long and protracted asymmetric conflicts, as we have experienced in parts of the country, particularly weary the mind. They may weaken the resolve and commitment. They may sap the will to continue. However, you have shown uncommon resilience, you've shown courage, and a steely commitment to the defense of our freedoms. Well done indeed. On behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, I thank you, veterans and serving officers, for your faith and for your services to our nation. And we thank the families of our fallen heroes for your fortitude. God bless you.